The dust has finally settled, at least for the most part, on the college football transfer portal. Who were the biggest winners and losers from the SEC in this previous year's transfer portal cycle? Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that bell icon as well so you get notifications of when we go live and when we drop new video content, which is each and every single day. Also, guys, check out the podcast, which drops daily wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. The following is brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Guys, Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get on the action. And while you watch your favorite sports and players, you just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. Guys, you can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. And guys, they have something for every sports fan, whether it's basketball, hockey, League of Legends, everything in between. You can pick LeBron, Caitlin Clark, Connor McDavid, and Jude Bellingham all in the same entry. Guys, if you want to play alongside some of Prize Picks' favorite players like Meek Mill and Sugar Sean O'Malley, you can. You can now find the community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the Prize Picks community each week. Guys, Prize Picks even offers injury insurance. I wish more books did this, but your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. So for basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, Prize Picks will have your back and not count that as a loss. Guys, sign up today at prizepicks.com or download the Prize Picks app and use promo code SECU for a first deposit match of up to $100. Guys, that's promo code SECU to redeem your deposit match bonus today. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with our friends over at Prize Picks. The transfer portal has come and gone, at least for the most part in college football, as the spring portal window officially has closed. Who are the biggest winners and losers in the SEC when it comes to the transfer portal? And guys, I know this is a conversation that we've had before. And I know that the spring transfer portal window, doesn't it feel like we were sold somewhat a bag of goods? And I'm not trying to call anybody out here, but sold a bag of goods by some of these national talking heads that, man, this is going to be the craziest transfer portal cycle you've ever seen. Teams are going to go wild, ravaging other rosters. I do think the thing that sort of held this at bay was the fact that SEC football players, if they enter the portal in this spring window, could not go from one SEC school to another SEC school. So if you're an SEC football player and you enter the portal in spring, you basically had to accept the fact, I'm going to be playing a lesser brand of football no matter where I go. But still, there was some movement. So we're going to pull it up here, guys. This is where each SEC team ranked in the national transfer portal team rankings via our friends over at 24/7 Sports. As you see, of course, no surprise here. Lane Kiffin, the portal king, and the Ole Miss Rebels ranked #1. Texas A&M at #2. Alabama at #4. Texas at #7. South Carolina at #12. Georgia at #13. Missouri at #16. Kentucky at 19. Oklahoma at 21. Florida at 22. Auburn at 27. Arkansas at 29. Tennessee at 30. LSU at 40. Mississippi State at 41, and the Vanderbilt Commodores coming in at 42. And guys, the first thing that jumps out, of course, is the Ole Miss Rebels and what they did. Nothing really has changed, obviously, but Ole Miss, guys, still another team that was active in the spring portal, shoring up the running back position. We talked before, guys, with our friends down in Oxford, and, of course, just looking at this football team and their roster coming out of spring, that the running back position was still one. Yes, you have Ulysses Bentley, who's going to be a fantastic player this year, but you wanted to shore up depth. You wanted to add depth to that room. Ole Miss certainly has done that, right? You look at Texas A&M. The way Mike Elko completely flipped that roster. Yes, they were gutted by the portal to a degree. A&M folks feel confident that what they brought in versus what they lost, it is a net positive. But, of course, you lose guys like a Walter Nolan on the defensive side. You lose a guy like an Evan Stewart to Oregon, right? But when you look at the sheer number of bodies, and we're talking high-quality bodies, what was it, 25, 26, 27 guys that Mike Elko brought in his first transfer portal cycle, you got to be really, really impressed with what A&M did, boosting their overall quality depth. Because I think the starting 22 for A&M, I think is pretty solid. But it was about that first 44. It was about the two deep in College Station, and Mike Elko and company doing a great job of shoring that up. Bama at number 4. Now, I thought this was interesting. Alabama, Kalen DeBoer got into Tuscaloosa. Things were kind of, I don't want to say falling apart, but they were gutted by the transfer portal. Really impressive what Kalen DeBoer was able to do going out in the portal. Of course, he brought some of his Washington guys with him, no doubt, but there were some other big pickups there as well. Great job. I mean, hey, how about Texas, who actually to end the spring portal lost a guy who was a Bama transfer, by the way, a linebacker, which I think it speaks more so to the depth of that linebacker room than it does to, oh my goodness, what happened with this? This was a swing and miss. I think Texas is going to be just fine in that linebacker room. But I mean, guys, you talk about gutting that Bama roster. Hello, Isaiah Bond. Hello, Amari Niblack. Hello, a host of others as well. So Texas was a phenomenal. I thought they were a huge winner in the portal. South Carolina was a winner, right? You add Rocket Sanders. The rest of their additions, guys, I would say this. They were very South Carolina-esque additions. And what I mean by that is to win at South Carolina, you have to be able to spot and identify diamonds in the rough and develop them. So outside of Rocket Sanders, there's probably not going to be anybody that you know off by name, right? They got a kid, Jawan Howell, from South Carolina State. They just picked up 2 wide receivers literally yesterday, one from Florida State and one from Nevada. But they feel confident in Columbia. You look at the defensive side, there's a couple household names there. Kyle Kennard up front was a really big pickup for them. They picked up a kid from Pittsburgh as well. Really thought they revamped the front seven. South Carolina, it wasn't necessarily the star power you saw from like the Ole Miss, or the likes of Ole Miss, if you will. But I thought the Gamecocks did a pretty good job addressing their needs. Rocket Sanders being the biggest of these pickups, no doubt, and certainly a guy they're going to be leaning on throughout this season. I thought Missouri was really impressed in the portal. Georgia, by the way, don't let me skip over Georgia, sitting at 13, did a good job adding some impact pieces. You know, Georgia's one, they don't really have to utilize the portal all that much, guys, because this roster, I mean, they're more so trying to retain guys than they are add guys. But I thought it was a successful portal cycle for Georgia. How about Missouri? Missouri is one that with all the questions, right, all the questions on the defensive side of the football, Blake Baker leaving, I thought they addressed needs in the portal. Adding Toriano Pride, I thought was a big one. You saw some of these guys emerge in their spring game. I thought Missouri was a big one in the portal. You know, guys, some losers in the portal, and I'm not trying to nitpick these fan bases here. And I want to say, too, I thought Tennessee was a winner in the portal. They're down this list. I thought they did pretty good as well. That they might even get Tyler Barron back, which we'll see. His portal life has been crazy. LSU, you know, I thought LSU, I didn't think they did as much as I thought they'd expected them to do. They got the transfer portal pickup from the kid from Wisconsin, the defensive lineman. I think he's more of a role player. I don't know he's an impact guy. I thought LSU would do more to shore up the interior of their defensive line. You see Arkansas down this list. I don't know that I'd call them a loser. Anytime you get your starting quarterback, which is what they got in Taylon Green, I think calling them a loser is too much. I thought Florida, guys, would do more in the transfer portal. You know, some guys I think they feel good about, but no really big splashes, which is not what I expected. You know, the Auburn Tigers, is it fair to call them a loser in the portal? The big reason I'd say it, guys, like, why did you not go get a quarterback? Are we really fooling ourselves that Peyton Thorne is that guy, right? Are we really fooling ourselves? Mississippi State at 41. Winner because of the quarterback position, loser because they didn't get more to assist him. But obviously picking up Blake Shapen We saw him in the spring game. Mississippi State, they were kind of both winners and losers in their own respects. Oklahoma sitting there right in the middle at 21. I thought all in all, a loser in the portal more often than not. I mean, they picked up some nice pieces, don't get me wrong, but you lose one of your top offensive linemen to Missouri. They did pick up Deion Burks, which was huge, by the way. Deion Burks is going to be a star, but didn't do quite as much as I thought Oklahoma would do in the portal cycle. So, outside of that, guys, I mean, again, for the most part, I think these teams did a really, really good job of utilizing the portal. Some, obviously, you see philosophical differences of how much some utilize it more than others. And there's no denying, guys, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, those two at the top, they were the easy winners of the transfer portal. You talk about overhauling your roster and revamping your roster. And I know we're still, believe it or not, guys, we're still kind of early on in this transfer portal thing. But if we see this work like they think it's going to work at Ole Miss, Texas A&M, I think you're going to see more and more and more even embrace the transfer portal as something to where it's not just a nice to have, it's a need to have. It's a must utilize. Going to be a very interesting case study over the next couple of years, both in Oxford and College Station. But guys, I ask you, who were your biggest winners and losers from the transfer portal, and how do you feel it'll affect each of these respective teams in the 2024 college football season? Guys, that's going to do all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Again, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that bell icon as well so you get notifications of when we go live and when we drop new video content, which is each and every single day. Also, guys, check out the podcast, which drops daily, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. Until next time, guys, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we'll catch you on the other side.